The key to helping him improve is for him to be feeling as good as possible when he's doing these activities. All right, so next up, we have an anonymous question. And this person says, "Hi, Odille, I'm a fan of the Remmert Method and your channel. I have a question. It's about my child. He is a 9-year-old and writes very slowly. When I see his notes incomplete, I feel so helpless and unknowingly raise my voice in the moment. Recently, he broke into tears saying, 'Please don't shout at me.' I am kicking myself for my poor behavior. I really feel helpless as to how I can help. I have a confession. I feel so ashamed to say this out loud. I feel my son average. I love him very much, but he is not very bright, I feel. I feel I am looking at him with my lens of poor confidence, and I am extremely ashamed to do this. But somehow this pattern, low confidence, I see getting passed to him through me, I feel. When I was a child, I used to study on my own. In a way, it was a survival strategy. I know that now, to please my parents. Whenever I got help from Mom, she used to remark how she wonders how I couldn't manage on my own. She was doing it as a child with ease. She would read it once and then remember it, and she kept praising herself. Now I feel I'm repeating it for my child, not trusting the child and not patiently helping him out. I get it when I analyze, but lose it in the moment. I want my child to be happy and do the best he can. I want to heal and end his trauma if I have passed it on. Is this some kind of generational trauma? Please guide. First, well done for reaching out for help with this. I'm really glad you did. And well done for making the effort to put an end to passing down the trauma from one generation to the next. As you mentioned, this is something that you learned from your mother, and she probably learned it from her parents. And now it's an unconscious automatic response to your son that doesn't actually really have anything to do with him or what he is doing. It's the unconscious part of your brain re-experiencing your childhood with your mum in the moment. And if it were to continue, of course, your son would then be automatically passing it down to his children and so on. So what's actually happening in real time is, as the unconscious part of your brain registers the data of what your son is doing, it's referring to your own implicit childhood memories that prove that you and he are in danger if he's not achieving a certain level. And then your brain is triggering stress chemicals that create that state of survival inside you. And raising your voice at him is your brain's automatic response to that state of emergency, that danger. Of course, those memories from your own childhood of studying and your mother's behaviors and everything she said, the things she used to say, those memories, of course, all need to be changed to the opposite, positive and empowering. But before we go into that, let's just check if there are any other references. So I want you to ask yourself, what's wrong with your son being average? So even if he is average, or even if he's below average, what's wrong with that? What are you most worried about? Like, what's the worst case scenario? Bearing in mind, the fear is, of course, not based on logic. It's based on your own childhood experiences. But we want to see what reasons your conscious mind comes up with as well, because that can lead to different clues. So see if you can get to what the worst case scenario is and then make peace with that. In other words, think of the worst case scenario and then keep asking yourself, and what will happen then? Or, and then what will I do? So the purpose of this is to make peace with it so that your brain is no longer fixated on it. The unknown is much more scary than reality. So, for example, if you think the worst case scenario would be that he won't be able to get a job, ask yourself, and so then what will happen? Or, and then what will he do? And perhaps you may think, well, then he'll be stuck doing something he hates. And then ask yourself, and then what? And keep going until maybe you get to the answer of, well, then he'll just have to make the best of what he has, and he'll have good friends, and he'll enjoy spending time with people who love him, and he'll appreciate his time off, or something like that. So the purpose of doing this exercise of making peace with the worst case scenario is to take away the fear of the unknown. So knowing what the worst case scenario could be and what you'll do if that happens. And then you'll probably never actually experience it. So it's just like having a safety net. You don't want to fall, but it's good to know that if you fall, you know there's a net there, you know what to expect. So it lowers the brain's compulsion to focus on the perceived unknown danger. Now, as you do that exercise, you may also find that other childhood memories or realizations pop into your head, and then you can make a note of those and address them as well. So, for example, the fear may be that you are in danger of being rejected by your mother because of your son. Now, of course, this isn't a conscious reason. It's an automatic, unconscious response based on your childhood experiences. So it may feel like you're in danger if he's not quick enough or intelligent enough. Or you may find that your response to your son is a result of your brain learning that that's the way you react to that sort of situation without any logic necessary. So just make a note of any insights and realizations and memories as you go. So once you've done that exercise of making peace with the worst case scenario, move on to this next stage. So the goal is to create new childhood memories of you and your mum having fun together with studying. Your mum you never have to study on your own. Your mum is teaching you that it doesn't matter if you get it right or wrong. The most important thing is to enjoy it and have fun. So just on a side note here for your conscious mind to remember, when we're feeling any negative emotions, the stress chemicals that cause those negative emotions, like adrenaline and cortisol, cause blood to drain from the prefrontal cortex of the brain, where we do our cognitive thinking, to the back of the brain for survival. That means that whenever we're feeling a negative emotion, we literally can't think straight. We don't have access to our cognitive thinking. Just because a person seems slow with writing or schoolwork, it doesn't mean that there's anything lacking intellectually. It can just be that they don't have access to the cognitive thinking part of their brain in that moment. And depending on the references they already have and the experiences moving forward, they can create blocks, and the brain can connect the activity of studying or reading or writing or whatever else they're doing with that state of survival, which can then be a repeating pattern. So that every time they're in a situation of doing that activity, blood drains from the prefrontal cortex, they don't have access to it. So the top priority for a child doing, or anybody doing any activity, is to be having fun. The more they're enjoying it, the more they'll be keeping their prefrontal cortex online, which means the easier, because they'll have access to that part of their brain, easier it'll be to learn, comprehend, calculate, concentrate, and recall information. So find ways to enjoy that time with your son. Make those times of writing fun with no time pressure if possible. So give him more time than he needs with breaks that involve affection, fun, and love. So you could, for example, tell him that once he's finished a particular piece, make it a very short piece so that it's very easy for him to achieve, especially at first. So once he's finished that first particular piece, you'll play a game with him, or he'll get something, or he'll get to do something before then moving on to the next piece. You could also do points. I did this with my son. So he gets a point for every sentence or paragraph or whatever the situation is. And then he can use his points to exchange for fun things that he likes and he'll be looking forward to. And let me know if you need more ideas for that kind of thing. So the key to remember is that when he's feeling happy, and this goes for everybody, when you're feeling happy, when he's feeling happy, blood is in the prefrontal cortex, which means he has access to his cognitive thinking. When he is not feeling happy, when he's feeling tired or stressed or frustrated or worried or anything like that, the prefrontal cortex that he needs for his writing and any other academic work, there's no blood there. So he doesn't have access to it. So then it's like trying to drive a car on empty. So keep that in your mind. So the key to helping him improve is for him to be feeling as good as possible when he's doing these activities. Okay, so now let's get back to your own memories. Create stepping stone memories where you're studying on your own, And then your mum comes in and she asks you if she can join you. She loves being with you and it's fun to study together. She loves helping you. Another stepping stone memory is where you're studying on your own and you need help. So you ask your mum for help and she says, yes, of course. And she loves helping you. And you have that moment of, oh, yes, now I understand, as she's explaining something to you. So you don't need to know what it is that you understand or the subject or anything like that. Just the feeling of her explaining it kindly and patiently to you and you fully understanding it. So, because your mum has explained it so lovingly and kindly and patiently, and she's so proud of you. All right. And then I would also include a stepping stone memory where you aren't able to do some of the work and your mum tells you it's not important. So she hugs you tightly and says, you know what? I don't know it either. And, with a big excited smile on her face, she says, you know what? It really doesn't matter. You don't have to do it. Let's go to the beach instead, or let's go to the fun fair or play a game or whatever that little you would have loved. So make sure you have the feeling that you are completely safe, loved, and valuable, even if you can't do the work. And your mum makes that very clear. Your happiness is the priority, and that's what she is focused on. And she's going to, protect you and keep you safe no matter what. And then the final memory is that your mum is telling you how amazing you are. She's telling you that she used to struggle with this work, these activities, and it comes so naturally to you. So we're turning this around completely here. So she admires you and she's so proud of you. And you can you overhear her bragging to other people, to other adults about you and how brilliant you are. And then practice the new memories until they're established. And then moving forward, replay those moments with your son by doing the little brain chemistry exercise. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video for those that don't have it. So filling yourself with that love, that light first, so that it overflows from you, and then imagining filling your son with it no matter what. So imagine the scene with him where he's writing slowly and whatever, he's not performing the way you wish he would. And imagine filling him with that love, that light, no matter what. Even if he never improves, fill him with that light and surround him with it, loving him exactly as he is, no matter what, and play those new childhood memories of you and your mom. So I hope that helps, but let me know if you need more suggestions or clarification on anything. And well done again for reaching out for help with it. All right, everyone, that's it for this week. I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.